Today's training is a workshop for those of you that are serious about taking your health to the next level. And so just be sure that you can clear your distractions and participate with the class. Our instructor today, Dr. Mary Starr Carter, has been helping women for 25 years in health and wellness, from her early years in turning at maternity and helping babies be delivered, to her chiropractic days where she specialized in women's wellness. So these past years, she has dug deep into taking care of herself and learning skills and tools to lasting weight loss, amazing energy, and more youthful appearance. So again, take out your notebook, get ready to take notes, and start the beginning of your lasting wellness journey. Please welcome Mary Starr Carter.
Thank you so much, Karen. It's a privilege to get to work with you and watch you helping so many women and men get healthy on their wellness journey too. So thank you so much. Before I get started, make sure everyone, again, I'm just going to repeat, put your name in the comments. We've got lots of good goodies giving away today, including wonderful essential oils. You'll learn a little bit about some tools that have helped me through this year and a half of my transformation, and some other goodies. So make sure you put your name in the comments and where you're coming from, right? Thank you so much. Karen's going to take care of that. Before I do my introduction of my transformation, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the problem that's happening in the world. It's a pretty serious problem. It's probably one you're very aware of because you have been through these past 2 years, right? You most likely are a woman who is watching this. You most likely, like me, are maybe through or during your years of where you could have babies, perimenopausal, maybe postmenopausal, and you are struggling. But the world is struggling. And I just want to share my screen really quick here and talk to you about what's actually happening in the world here. 70% of Americans were overweight or obese before COVID. Did you hear that? 70%. 70%. Oh my goodness, right? With women even being more overweight. Now, this one gets me a lot because I saw some of my friends here from Texas and Alabama. I live here in Mississippi. It is projected in 2030 that 60% of my state will be obese. Now, obesity isn't overweight, friends. Obesity is you are in what I like to call the serious health death zone. If you do not change things, you will die early, right? We're seeing this more and more and more. It is a serious problem. You dark red friends in the states here, even peak. I mean, really, there's one state that that's 30% or less. This is a serious problem, and one that we need to take back, and we need to learn that. And the reason that I wanted to bring that to your attention about obesity and why it's such a problem is that most of us have kids, right? Have grandkids, have a future that we want to have a happy, healthy, lasting life, right? This is so important that we learn to manage our weight. We learn to take control of our health for ourselves, and then the example that we can be to others. The other reason that I started on my transformation and that I'm sharing this with you is that over the past 5 years, I have had a lot of good friends and family members struggling with cancer. I think all of us, I don't think there's anybody on here who doesn't know someone who is in a cancer battle or has been doing that. And the numbers are getting lower and lower and lower, right? Younger and younger and younger. We are seeing this. Now let's go back to obesity. How many of you know someone with endometrial cancer? Obese and overweight women are 2 to about 4 times as likely as normal weight women to develop endometrial cancer. And that's the cancer of the lining of the uterus. And extremely obese women are about 7 times as likely to develop more common of the 2 main types of cancers. How many of you know someone who's dealt with esophageal cancer? People who for years have had GERD or acid reflux, and then one day they wake up, they go to the doctors and they have this giant cancer growing in them. I have an acquaintance right now who's a young guy, dying of esophageal cancer. People who are overweight or obese are twice as likely as normal weight people to develop an esophageal cancer. Causes esophageal adenocarcinoma. Liver cancer. People who are overweight or obese are twice as likely as normal weight people to develop liver cancer. Kidney cancer. People who are overweight or obese are nearly twice as likely as normal weight people. Now, listen, I'm saying overweight and obese, right? Overweight and obese. Most of us, 70% of us, are probably in that overweight category, some of us in that obese category. So we have just doubled our chances of getting cancer, many of these cancers, colorectal cancers, gallbladder cancer, breast cancer. That's a very serious thing for us women. Many studies have shown that postmenopausal women with high BMI, body mass index, is associated with an increase in breast cancer. Okay. And the list, ovarian cancer, higher BMI, slight increase in ovarian, thyroid cancer, the higher your body mass index. Now, this is not to shame any of us. This is to say, hey, I need to take control. And today's the day. I'm going to learn some tools and some tips to really transform my life. Who's with me? All right. Who's with me? Okay, let's give our early birds a little giveaway here. Karen, are we ready to possibly, you can just randomly pick, go ahead. And I think we'll give away some stress away because of talking about some heavy things here today. All right, you need to come off of mute, Karen, and you can tell us who our winner is and how they need to email you when they win a gift.
Absolutely. We had several that were early today. So I've got a list here. Our winner is going to be Barbara Maples. Congratulations, Barbara.
Yay, Barbara.
I'm going to drop my email address in the chat. Make sure you email me and we will get you your giveaway. Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you everyone for being here live. It's awesome. All right. So if we have not met before, my name is Mary Starr Carter. And I started my health and wellness journey about 25 years ago, helping women, like Karen said, on the maternity floor of our local hospital. And I was on my way to medical school and just had a radical life change at that time, an experience where I shifted and ended up going to chiropractic school. And that's where I really fell in love with wellness. And it's actually in school where I really started struggling a lot with my health. I was in a very dark place in my life. I was depressed. I was not sleeping. I was overweight and just overwhelmed with the stress. It just felt like it was crushing me. Anybody have that kind of period of their life where they just felt like they were being crushed? And this doctor friend of mine, she said, you need to meet this lady, Kathy. And Kathy was like this bright, vibrant, passionate mom who was super healthy. And she said, you need these little bottles, then they can help you. And I was skeptical at first, but I was like, wow, she's working from sun up to sundown. Her kids are healthy. She's healthy. She's a, good weight. And I'm like, maybe I will try them. And immediately when I started using these little circles in a bottles, she called them, I started feeling better. I started sleeping better. I started feeling like the crushing weight was coming off of me. And very quickly, it was like this light bulb was on again, like all the lights were firing, right? And that's where I really fell in love with studying about wellness and nutrition and women's wellness. I started diving into sleep health, weight loss. So when I graduated from chiropractic school, I had a very specialized niche of practice where I would spend 1 to 2 hours with each client, mostly women. I worked a lot, especially in women's wellness. And because I got such good results with these little miracles in a bottle, I started building a small business with that, as along with my wellness center at the same time. So I was building 2 businesses. I was helping a lot of people get amazing results, and forgot to take care of me. I forgot to take care of me. Anybody have that time in your life, like you're being very successful in one area of your life, but you're forgetting about your own health? Okay, I know some of my friends on here. Okay, a few are shaking their head. Yes, yes, yeah. You know, it happens to so many of us, especially women. So in 2009, I got pregnant with my first baby, and I didn't have a clue how that would change my life, affect my health. Didn't have a clue. I struggled with nursing, anxiety, postpartum depression. And then a little over a year later, I had my first miscarriage. Again, I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to do. I would have 2 more miscarriages before I had my second child. But from 2009 to 2016, I have 2 amazing children today, 2 babies, and I've had 6 miscarriages in that period of my life. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to the hormone effects of getting pregnant or having a miscarriage, any of that. I'm sure a lot of you can relate, but it's a very difficult. I don't think it's talked about enough. I think with Facebook, we are talking about enough. But one thing I just want to make a side note on that is that many times, because we have other children, we have a life, we have a career, whatever, we kind of go on with life and we don't deal with the grief. We don't deal with that emotion. And later on, it shows up. And that's my own personal experience, and also the experience I've had working with women all of these years. So just, do that. And I'm going to give you little golden nuggets, I call them, throughout this workshop. And I encourage you just to maybe make a note, on your phone, on a piece of paper, a mental note. Make a note of those golden nuggets that you might want to dig into deeper. And we're going to give out some resources as well. All right, so let's talk more about stress that can contribute to the weight challenges we have. Anyone move across the country, right? Move houses, have to pack up your house in a very short period of time, or I have a girlfriend right now. She's in a great rental, and boom, hey, we're moving back to the area. You're going to have to move out with your 6 kids. Like these are stressful times, and I've worked with a lot of military women too, where it can be every 3 months, 6 months, every couple of years. They're just moving across the country with kids in tow, being pregnant. I was just talking with a good friend who was a military mom of 6 kids, and she was telling me about all of these stressful times that she went through. But when your spouse is away, you just do what you have to do, right? You just do what you have to do. How many of you have had periods of your life where you just had to do what you had to do and just suck it up, buttercup, right? You didn't have time to deal with what was going on in your body. And we can go into overdrive because we have to, but then again, that kind of stress can catch up with us later, months or years later. We can find we have fatigue, panic attacks, weight gain, depression. Now I want to talk to you caregivers, or those of you with special need children. In 2018, my husband had a terrible bicycle accident where he was hospitalized in Stanford Hospital for 21 days. He was on the trauma floor. He spent another month in a hospital bed in our home. Here I have 2 little children at home. I'm trying to find daycare. And he had a slow recovery, but I did what I had to do. And I'm sure someone here, I can see one of my girlfriends here, her husband went through cancer, and she had to be there. She had to be strong. She had to be that caregiver, along with running a salon, along with all of the other things that she had to do. And again, these things can catch up with us later. Around that same time in my life, I had to come to grips that I had a child who was not typical, that would need much more support in his development than normal kids. And that's can be a lot for a parent. There can be guilt. It's still a very sensitive subject for me. Whew, excuse me. So dealing with emotions, dealing with caregiving, trauma, stress, physical stressors, emotional stressors, loneliness, overwhelm, postpartum, all of these things can add to your and my weight challenges and health. And the reason that I bring these up, right away is that we have to take a good look as women, as moms, as grandmoms, as just business owners, as stay-at-home moms, whatever your roles are, we have to take a good look inside at how our past and the things that we've been through have led us up to this point. And I've done different classes on this, but this is one of the first resources that I want to bring to you. Usually I have it right here to grab, but it's missing. It's called the Grief Recovery Method. The Grief Recovery Method. And in the Grief Recovery Method, it's a workbook that you actually work through. In this Grief Recovery Method, it's not so much about losing a spouse, your mom, your dad, a husband, a wife. Yes, that is a piece of grief, but there's other pieces of grief that a lot of us have not dealt with. And I did a very good women health chat on grief recovery with my friend Isa. Karen, make a note. We'll put that in the resources. We'll put both the book and that, because we're going to give some of you a resource sheet if you want to take the next steps with us of digging deep in those things. So that's another little golden nugget that can be very life-changing and helpful to you. So you can imagine it was a struggle to maintain my health. I was on a roller coaster of weight loss and gain. Anyone else, I said this before, had been on the roller coaster. But I was smart enough to know I needed help, and I dove into finding solutions. Okay, I dove into finding solutions for my weight loss journey. I would love for some of you right now to write in the chat what you've done that's been successful for you, even if it was for a season of time on your weight loss journey. What have you done that's been successful for you on your, was it an accountability group? Was it changing one of your habits? Was it working out? Was it Weight Watchers? Was it, what was it in your group, in your history? Beth did Weight Watchers. Eating meals on time. Karen, I can't read them all. Maybe you could come off of mute and help me.
Sure. Carb cycling helps. Beth said eating more veggies, Trina said. Drew has a good one, journaling. A lot of times, like you were mentioning, the grief or whatever is in our way that block for us, if we can just journal about it, that's huge. Eliminating gluten. Changing habits, eating less, exercising more, working out, drinking more water.
Working with you.
Hey, Mary, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry my picture's not up, my video, whatever. I just recently did, and maybe you're familiar with this, it's called ChiroThin, and it's through chiropractors. I've worked for 21 years to fix what got broke by prescription meds and stuff, and I was never able to recover. but you know how complicated that is. And honestly, I even did lap band surgery and everything. Nothing worked. It proved not to be a quantity thing, but nothing was working. What that did that was different was it talked about a set point. And I always said, yes, yes, I have a set point. If I lose weight, I bounce back up to that set point. And so it dealt with that. And I don't, it sounds unhealthy, but it was monitored by the chiro doctor. And I did well on it, but I lost 30 pounds in 6 weeks. And nothing has ever done that, even the surgery, nothing. But it's expensive. And I went to my health food store, who's a brilliant woman, and she tried to match it with her stuff. And she's now they are really, they've got some formula that's really amino acids, you know, plays with your metabolism and stuff. But my body was just stubborn. It was broken. It wasn't communicating well, you know.
Yeah.
So I did have that.
This is Laura, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
And I have done everything too. I've gotten rid of all the junk and everything, and it just stayed at that set point. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for bringing that up, and thank you for sharing your personal journey too. And I'm gonna, now that you remind me, I am gonna talk about that set point as well. So thank you so much.
sure.
So like Laura, my weight loss journey, I grew up, I was always the bigger kid. When I was 9 years old, I was 100 pounds, which is kind of blows my mind now because my daughter is so fit and trim and healthy. And to think of her having about 45 more pounds on her body is like, it just, I can't fathom that. But I grew up, in an Italian family. I was also an only child, and my parents worked. So I would come home from school and I would dig into everything that was sweet. I think, and I see this too with my daughter, when we go through puberty, our bodies do crave more things. And when there's access to those sweets and things like that, we feed kind of that monster. I go to my friend's house, we would eat all the chocolate chips or open up the bag and eat all the chocolate chips. And I just remember just like food being such a huge thing in my life. Now, all of you don't have the same journey as myself. Maybe you grew up very healthy. Maybe you just have 5 to 10 pounds, but maybe you've struggled since you were a kid. So when I was a senior in high school, I was doing Weight Watchers with my other girlfriend that was like the biggest kid in the class, and that was successful for us. I think I lost about 25 pounds. Through college, I did things like sugar detox, program called TOPS, if anyone remembers that. And then as I got into health and nutrition and chiropractic school, I learned about colon cleanses, master cleanse, liver detox, liver gallbladder flush, miracle cleanse, fasting, parasite cleanse, coffee enemas, keto diet, Whole30, eat right for your blood type. That was a big one. I've done the medical medium program, the sleek weight loss program, gut and physiology syndrome, cellulite cleanses. I have done a lot, and I have had success probably with almost all of those things, but all of those things didn't have all the pieces of the puzzle that I needed to make a full transformation. And like Laura, get past my set point. So I'll share my screen again. You might have, let me show you here. Here we go. So I wanted to just show you this. Maybe these aren't so great to see. Maybe you could see them or not and stuff too. But this was a lot for me. All of us have our different set point, right? It is not so much the number on the scale that determines our health. But for me, my set point was right around 150. I never could go less than that, especially after children. But at 150, I felt like I looked pretty good. So this is the results I got on using the Sleek program along with exercise. Now, let me show you my current pictures of releasing 50 pounds. So this was me May 9th of 2021, and this was me April 5th of 2022. Let me see if there's another picture here. I am, and my muscles are even better. I'll have to show you those in a second. Oh, we don't.
Mary, we're still seeing the older pictures.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's see. I will do a new share. Let's see. Here we go. How about here? It's good?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so this is my my transformation, part of my transformation. I feel better and better. And getting past that set point was oh, this is my brother-in-law's pictures as well. We'll talk about him later. So there is some key things that we do need to learn. So let's start there. Okay, let's start there. All right. Alrighty. Let me pull my notes here. Let's start today's class. I wanted to give you just that introduction. We wanted to dig deep into looking at some of those things, some of those areas, some of those stressors. Right now, just take 30 seconds and write down any of the stressors that you think, because not all of you have 50 pounds to lose, but you may have some other health challenges. Any stressors that you think may have contributed. And if you want to write them in the chat, please do. Like, what are some stressors that have contributed to your current health status not being as high as you want? And go ahead and write that in the chat. And Karen, if you could for me, let's pick a person who shared from the previous chat, and we'll give away a journal.
Okay. I've got a list here of people that have chatted with us and participated. Let's give it away to Anita Yelton.
Oh, Anita. So you're going to get this beautiful push journal. I just got to spend some time with Anita last week. This is a beautiful journal that helps you really just look at, what are the areas of my life, take some good notes. I like this type of journal for your life. So we'll get that to Anita. Karen, can you read to me some of the stressors that have been in people's lives?
Sure. We've got job stress, COVID, no energy, pain from stroke, surgery and not being able to exercise because of that, loneliness, depression, taking care of everyone else. When I go home to South Louisiana and get near that good Cajun food, it's a real thing, isn't it, Holly? And it's not really about the food cravings per se, but it's culture, right? It's culture also. Depression, anger, depression, lack of motivation, half staffing at work. I've worked through COVID, except the 2 weeks I had it. My husband's heart failure, arthritis, menopause, accident with ankle, 6 surgeries, husband with dementia, son lost his leg and moved in.
Caregivers. Yeah. So I think that we all are kind of part of this club, but we're all going to have challenges, and some of us more serious than others, but we don't have to be a part of the club that doesn't take care of ourselves. And so this next portion of our workshop, we're going to work on looking at some hidden culprits that are keeping you in poor health, that are keeping you overweight. We're going to look at some hidden culprits. And the number one thing, hear me clearly, the number one thing that is keeping you stuck, is contributing to your poor health, is that you have not made yourself a priority. Hear me again. You have not made yourself a priority. And I can hear the excuses already. I have 6 children. I have a spouse who has a lot of needs. I'm a caregiver. My job is 90 hours a week. I can hear your excuses, and I am going to call you up to write those excuses down because that's what they are. You have chose the job, you have chose others over filling up your cup. And now some of you are going to argue with me again, but isn't that selfish? And some of you who have maybe the same faith as I do are going to say, but Jesus served. He rarely took breaks. He served, he gave, Mm-mm. Mm-mm. This is your vessel, right? This is your temple. You cannot give if your cup isn't full. And if it's just a little bit empty, right? It'll get more and more empty unless you make yourself a priority. So does anybody disagree with me or want to argue on that one?
I definitely agree with you. However, I feel like a personal challenge I have is, so when you think of what does that look like for each one of us, right? How do we make ourselves the priority? Because I think that will look different for a lot of us, right? And so I definitely agree with you.
It will. And it's different in different seasons, right? It's different in different seasons. By the end of class, you will have 1 or 2 tools and tips that you can move forward with to make yourself a priority. All right, so back to the hidden culprits is most people are not making themselves a priority. And then when it comes to their weight and their weight management strategy, they're not making that a priority too. They're just jumping into taking this drink or doing this one thing, and they're not really looking at the whole picture. Write this down. On my transformation, I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get into this. I had this model that very quickly came to me. It was plan to win, prepare to win, play to win, and protect your wins. Again, plan to win, prepare to win, play to win, and protect your wins. And some of you maybe don't have a personality that likes to win, and those words don't resonate with you, but all of us have some of that in there. All of us truly do want to have better health, or you wouldn't be here, right? So the first thing that on your weight loss journey is you don't have a plan. Just like in business, you don't have a plan. You just do this, that, whatever, and the results you get are the results you get. You don't have a plan. Or the plan that you do have is not a successful plan, right? It hasn't been proven. It hasn't, it's only looking at one area and maybe not the whole area, like we heard Laura talk about earlier. Prepare to win. So once you have the plan, you got to prepare. Like you have to make time in preparation to win. You have to play to win. And that has a lot to do with our mindset. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. You have to play like, I am going to achieve this, right? You have to actually engage and then protect your wins. How many of us have lost weight in the past and gained it all back, right? Because we didn't have a plan to protect our wins. We didn't have a plan to protect our wins. Very interesting that this all can be applied to business as well. Okay, so another hidden culprit to or secret piece of the puzzle is a myth in your plan called the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule. And I know Karen might disagree with me on this one, and some of you may disagree with me on this one. But one of the things that I learned from my weight loss transformation is that during my weight loss phase, this transformation phase I was in, if I tried to come at it at an 80-20, if I tried to be good 80% of the time and 20% of the time eat junk, or be good 6 days a week and 7 days, my 7th day was a cheat day, or even have a cheat meal every single week, it was going to go like this. And what happens when we have results like this? We have wins and then we have losses, and we have wins and we have losses. What happens to us emotionally? Anybody?
Discouragement.
Discouraged. And eventually, right, we want to quit. So that happens. So this is a huge aha, is that, oh, if I want to achieve this goal, I got to actually stay on track. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't mess up a whole bunch of times. I did quite a bit, quite a bit. But I knew I was in this phase that in our transformation is called the focus phase. Now, think about that in business too, right? Some of you have home businesses and things like that. If you are doing your business, 80% of the time and then taking 2 weeks off, 80, and it doesn't mean we don't have rest run cycles, but you'll get these same results and it'll be very, very discouraging. So that's a huge aha, is that 80-20. Anyone else want to comment on that? Karen, you want to say what you said?
Sure. I think the 80-20 rule might be good for maintenance, but not for loss.
Very.
When we're needing to lose, that 80-20 is not going to serve us well.
Yep. So true. And that's a big one for those of you who like to go to restaurants, right? There is a way to eat out, but if you are 2, 3, 4 times a week, or even 2 times a week of a restaurant, you're kind of playing with fire. You have to have really good strategies and play to win strategies when you're going to restaurants. We'll talk maybe a little about that in our Q&A section. So I'm giving you the hidden culprits. Then I'm going to give you 10 steps to success. Then I'm going to give a little Q&A time. All right. The next thing that I found, which was a huge thing in my transformation, was water. And that I was not drinking enough water. And I had been preaching water for years. Water. When I actually measured how much water I got in a day, and most of you have heard that you're supposed to have half your body weight of water per day. Most of you have heard that. But in my transformation, we were required to drink a gallon a day. And I kid you not, that scale went down when I was doing a gallon of water every day during the week. Even if I had some mistakes, right? Even if I had some mistakes. Why? That's science. For fat to hydrolyze, it needs a lot of water. It needs a lot of water, and half your body weight in ounces may not be enough, especially if you're drinking other caffeinated drinks, right? Or sweating a lot or all of that. So that kind of like blew my mind, blew my mind. Just had a week when I wasn't drinking my water to its full capacity. And boy, did it do some detriment to my health. Okay, water, sleep. This was another big one, right? This has nothing to do with what I'm actually even putting in my mouth, but it was making the scale go down. It was making the scale go down. And I've seen this so many times with my patients. So many times with my patients is that if they are having sleep issues, that there's way more inflammation in the body. There's way more mental stressors, depression. I mean, sleep is such an important thing. It's so, so important. And I did a video on this, but I'm going to share this. My husband probably won't appreciate this, but he, depending on where he is in his health journey, will snore. And that snoring, that I'm in a lighter sleep cycle, it's not good for me. I have a little watch that shows me like how many times I wake up, and I snore too. I'm working on that, some issues with that too. But the point of it is that I would go out and sleep on the couch and get this high quality sleep for a period of time. And the more sleep I got, like this high quality sleep, it's not how many hours you're in bed, it's how efficient you are sleeping. So we're going to give you a couple resources as well. We'll give you access of where to get, like there's something called the sleep timer. which you can do, like how you know when to go to sleep and when to wake up, so that you get all the good REM sleep, deep sleep, all of those things. We're going to give you some of those, but sleep was key. And I had to make myself a priority. I love my husband, right? I love sleeping with him and doing this, but there have been days, and still to this day, where I will have to go sleep on the couch, or I choose to go sleep on the couch to get myself the good quality sleep that I know that I need. Anybody else notice a difference in their weight loss journey with sleep? Okay, well, work on it because none of you are probably sleeping as much as you should be. Okay, but we'll give you resources on that. Another thing was core nutrition, and Lori alluded to this too, or Laura alluded to this. There are some key pieces to core nutrition that most of us aren't getting. And when I give you the next step, those steps to success, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about amino acids and protein and all of that. And most people, one, they're not getting enough food, and they just don't have the fundamental core nutrition that the body needs. And I think this is really super important for perimenopausal, postmenopausal. Those of you still having babies, I think it's super important for women. I have seen hundreds, if not thousands of women's lives change when they get this core nutrition the body needs. And I'll talk about that. All right. So we talked about the 80-20 rule. We talked about play to win, prepare to win, play to win, plan, blah, 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 PPPP, water. We talked about sleep. We talked about core nutrition, missing that, not knowing what you're eating. Like most people think they eat really good, but they don't even realize like, oh, I only had 15 grams of protein today, and I had 300 carbohydrates, even though it was a good meal. Like I was eating healthy food. I was having avocado and Ezekiel bread, and I was eating all these healthy things, but I truly didn't know what I was eating. Like I didn't know portions. I didn't know any of those things. And that's very important too. So those are some of the hidden culprits and secrets of like say on the physical side. There are also many other hidden culprits, and I'm going to get a little deep here, and we're going to do a little bit of workshopping in a second. But in our biggest transformation, we had to have a vision for where we were going. We had to have a vision of what that looked like, because most of you, maybe you're like me, I had a 20-year-old me picture that I found of me doing a little amateur triathlon where I came in last, right? But I look at that picture, I'm like, ooh, she looked good. I had a little tank top thing on and stuff like that. So I did have that, but my weight loss coach, she really pushed us to go out, to go on Pinterest to say, what kind of jeans did we want to wear? What did we want our muscles to look like? Like, what is the vision you had for what you look like? And then that will change over time. In my first 6 months, I had these pictures in my bathroom and I looked in them, but then it would change over time. And I'm a little embarrassed to show you, but I will show you anyway. It's like, I want really amazing muscles. Like, this is what I personally want. You have to decide what you want. And I look at this. Right? I look at this. I'm not putting it on my refrigerator or anything. You can make that choice and stuff too, but you have to have vision for where you're going. Same thing in business, same thing in life, same thing in parenting, right? What's your vision? What kind of house are you going to have? We need to expand our minds. It's very hard for some of us because of our beliefs. So I'm going to go backwards here. Because of our beliefs. I want to show you this shirt that I'm wearing. It says, I heart my body. Right. And it's by a phenomenal woman, Linda, help me say it, Trina, Linda Potgieter. And she is a fashion expert, really, and has what would you call it? This huge following of and helping women love their body and love the way they look. And although, I'm not involved in that group at all, I see how important this is. How many of you could say you love your body? Before my body looked like it does now, I had to learn to love it. I never loved it. Those earlier pictures where you saw where I gotten in shape, I still didn't love me. I didn't still love me. And I mean, we could dig deep in this, but it's a real key to your weight loss journey. And I'm going to share something personal on this. Some of the people that I've walked through this transformation, I saw that they didn't have this. And I predicted they would not keep the weight off. They would not keep the weight off. Because how many of you agree you've gained weight or you lost weight, you looked phenomenal, and then you gained the weight because they didn't have this belief about themselves, right? So, and I was right. I was right. Some of the people I've walked on this transformation with have not changed what's up here enough to really love themselves. And it makes me very sad, but at least we know this is where we need to work. Now, why do we have these beliefs? Right? Why do we not love ourselves? Why was I afraid to show my body, to wear a small shirt, to I was constantly hiding? Well, there's a lot of reasons. And the women that I have had in my practice through the years, there has been trauma, there has been abuse, there has been parents who have called them the most horrific names possible. There is this hiding because men to them are not safe. So if I can hide myself with layers or cushions, right, and not be attractive, then I'm not a target, right? And it's very, very sad. So this is a little bit of the workshop and the hard part that I want us to go with. If you want to take your video off for a while, if you want to grab maybe some essential oils, if you want to turn on some music, you can do that. But I'm going to have you watch, for those of you who can handle it, because it is sensitive stuff. I'm going to have you watch about 10 minutes. So you can either watch if you're on live, or if you're watching the recording, you can watch and then journal or journal. I want you to journal about the beliefs you have about you. I want you to journal about people who maybe have said hurtful things to you, things that have been there's a lot of unforgiveness about, things that you need to still forgive and release and bless people. I want you to just take 10 minutes right now. Again, you can watch the video I'm about to show you, or you can just take this 10 minutes to yourself. Again, you absolutely do not have to come back on camera and share if you don't want to, but we will process a little bit for those of you who want to. All right, so let's get started. Okay. Let me know if this is good. So this is part of my transformation. It is on YouTube, and we'll give you these resources as well. Can you see this okay, Karen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a week. So every week we get together. We had our weigh-in. I'll talk about that. But this is a week where we're really digging into those areas where we had a lot of hurts.
I always knew I was a bigger kid than everyone else. Growing up in elementary school, I always went to the YMCA day camp for summers. And I remember hiding wanting to get in the water really quick because I didn't want people to see me. and some of the other kids would comment because I was just bigger. I had bigger thighs, a bigger belly. I was 100 pounds by the time I was in the 3rd grade. And the reason I know that is because in the 3rd grade, they started weighing us. And it was the boys and the girls together in the nurse's office. We would get on the scale, those scales. And if you remember, when you're 100 pounds, you have to move that thing up. And I was the only kid, I think me and my one girlfriend, that they had to move that thing up. And I remember some of the boys just like making comments and stuff like that. And that continued until the 5th grade. The 5th grade was just the girls. So the girls had the special talk and we would do that. And I remember being like, me and my one girlfriend, it was the biggest girl, we would want to be the last people measured, right? And luckily at that time, the nurses didn't announce your weight to everyone, but I remember everybody seeing that, that scale thing go up. And because I was bigger, I started to develop. I mean, at 9 years old, 10 years old, and that got attention that I did not like from boys. And riding the school bus was like just not a good thing. And probably part of the reason I homeschool my kids today, because of some of the, I guess, trauma that I went through. And boys thinking that they could have access. And I think that's when I started hiding. Because when you're bigger chested, you start hiding. And, just kind of like wearing bigger clothes or things to hide. Not being accepted for who I was. And I recognized too the position I had in my career at that time, that I should have maybe worn makeup, but I've always got this frumpy, this is what came back to me, is that I've lived probably a decade and a half in this frumpy look, like bigger clothes, those flowing things. And my husband, he is so incredible. He's loved me any size. But he did, he's like, think you like, these are frumpy, this is old lady-ish. And he was right, it didn't hurt my feelings. And I remember being in church one day and I was next to my sister-in-law's like in her 30s and I was maybe 40 at this time. And the woman behind me goes to me, she says, "Oh, is this your daughter?" And I was like so offended, but I knew it's because I was looking frumpy, you know what I mean? And no offense, but it's just like I was looking like a grandmother or I wasn't looking like, because, I hide and I've hidden for a lot of years. I remember being at events where I was feeling so beautiful and it was like a gala and stuff. And I had this beautiful dress on and it was like form fitting. And this one of my team members coming up to me like, "Oh, are you pregnant?" You know what I mean? Because my stomach was sticking out. And I've heard that many times. Being called fat ass and stuff like that, I've just blown those off through the years. Like, I don't say really mean things to myself. But I don't know, maybe because I'm just hiding. Anyway, that's it. Hi, Cindy. Hello. So, I remember
when I would walk home from school, elementary school, or excuse me, junior high, I had a neighbor, and she had a friend who didn't live in the neighborhood, but she would go to her house every once in a while. And when it was just my neighbor and I, we would walk together. But when it was my neighbor and her friend, they would walk behind me and they would make fun of my weight, just mean things. They would just say mean things. And I never understood that, because this neighbor I thought was a friend, but when she was with her other friend, she was a completely different person. But the things that they said hurt a lot. I didn't like gym class in high school. Back then, when I went to high school, we had to wear a gym outfit. It was a one-piece outfit, and uglier than I'll get out. And mine did not fit well. And so I hated gym because of the way I looked in my gym outfit. And girls would snicker and, just things that young teenage girls do. When my husband was in the Army, I started going to an Army doctor. And one day he looked right at me and he said, "Isn't your husband ashamed of you? I mean, he's in the military. You should be fit just like she is." And I remember crying all the way home. And then when my husband got home, I asked him, and he said, "No, I love you unconditionally. I love you for who you are." But that stuck with me for a still does. And that was 30-some years ago. I've had 2 pregnancies and 2 ectopic pregnancies. And I've lost them all, of course. And I remember my doctor saying to me that if I would lose weight, I wouldn't lose the babies. And so I don't know that all these years, not blessing my husband with a child. I'm sorry.
We do not need to apologize.
It's very raw, very intense week for all of us. It was about our 5th week. You see, Cindy had lost at that point about 23 pounds. I was at 11 pounds. And it's not about opening wounds. It's about digging to the root of how we see ourselves. How we see ourselves. Okay, so now that we've looked at those things, and we particularly looked at vision, belief, forgiveness, and we'll give you some resources that have been very pivotal to the weight loss journey. In fact, I mean, literally in a week, watching a woman drop 10 pounds without changing anything else, just from this one forgiveness exercise. Or my friend Carrie, who is a part of a program we do called First Steps to Success and Creating a Dynasty. And in a 6-week period of time, she too, it was 35 pounds just from going through forgiveness exercises. Like, it's amazing what the body will do when we release these things that we've been holding on to. So very powerful. So we'll give you some tools for that, and it'll be your choice to see what fits for you and in your weight loss. All right, so let's get back to, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And we're going to go, my fitness PDF. I think this is it. Let's see. Let's see where are we at. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about my journey too. And this is a great thing too, is that if you look at this picture, and some of you are my personal friends, you've seen the years come off of my face. You've seen my youthfulness. My family has seen me be able to jump out of bed, be able to play with them and run. And I just had an experience of going to Hawaii. I've got to go to Hawaii 2 times. It's been an incredible life-changing experience there. But the first time I went, I was so cloudy headed. You know, I was 50 pounds overweight. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. We had all this good training. I couldn't remember any of it. This next time that we went a couple of months ago, I was awake from 4 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night, and I still had energy. I could take in the training, and it was with my kids and my husband. Like, there was just a lot more going on, but I could manage so much more in my transformation in my body, mind, and soul, really transformation. So we talked about priority. Focus will equal your freedom. Focus will equal your freedom in your body. So step 1, so now we're talking about our 10 steps to success, is you must fortify the body. You absolutely must fortify the body. I can only talk about the nutrition and wellness products that I have used for 23 years. So this is what I have seen. Supplementation, I feel, is a key for anyone on a health journey. And we have a very simple wellness guide that's in a part of our group. We'll give you, some of you, access to that as well, if you decide you want to fortify with nutritional supplements. So these are 2 supplements that I really, really like for the weight loss journey. One, Ninja Red's very digestible. It has a lot of those amino acids, essential amino acids that you heard Laura talk about earlier. And I have seen people start to make that transformation and drop weight just from this. Why? When you have core nutrition in your body that is digestible, you have more energy. You have more energy, you have more motivation, you sleep better. This Ninja Red, I've seen great results with people's sleep. Great results with those of you struggling with a lot of worry. You can't shut off your brain. So I'm really, really happy about that. So core nutrition. Master Formula. This is our, it's not a weight loss product. It's more like your vitamins, minerals, herbs, and it has some omegas in it as well. So I remember Vicky, when she started taking the Master Formula, she said, Mary, is this a weight loss product? Because I've dropped 10 pounds. And I'm like, no, this is what happens when you put that core nutrition. So it's really the foundation of your weight loss journey. So I knew this. And so before I started the biggest transformation, and when I got serious, I started being religious about getting my body ready for its transformation with these 2 supplements. And then if you are a part of our wellness group too, we talk more about the next step, which is gut health. So I am a person who had been constipated my whole entire life. And in the resources you'll get, you'll see some of my before and afters of my face, and how much acne I had. And so even on this transformation, and when I lost the weight, I still had a good amount of acne, a lot of rosacea still. It wasn't until I started addressing some things in my gut. I think essential enzymes enzymes in general are a key to your wellness journey. Enzymes are a key to your weight loss journey. Gut health is a key to your weight loss journey. You can carry 20, 30, 40 pounds of poop in your gut. No joke. I am not joking with you. There's so much old poop in there. And we can even get into a conversation about parasites. But again, we'll put those in your resources. So this combination, this is what I have used. Essential Zyme or Essential Zyme 4 are phenomenal for having an enzyme with every meal, because you're going to see in a second that I increased the amount of protein I was having every day. And for a person who's constipated already, it made me more constipated. So having the enzymes started to create some good movement. I got all the nutrition out of there. Enzymes break down the food much better. If you're over 30, you just don't have the enzymes your body needs to get all the nutrients out of all that good food you're eating. Comfortone helped me. It was an occasional thing that I used to promote digestion and get me pooping. And then I really like this product called ICP, and that you take with your higher protein meals. I have a whole training on this. You can learn more about that, but taking care of the gut, also looking at food sensitivities as well in step 2. All right, step 3. This is one that will, for those of you who aren't already a part of a wellness journey, this is one that's going to blow you away. Do you know when you're using air fresheners and those plug-ins that you have in your car, the plug-ins you might have at school in the bathrooms or wherever you work, your dryer sheets, all of that. I'll tell you a quick story about dryer sheets. My husband worked with a gentleman who worked at a dryer. His brother worked at those dryer sheet plants. And he came in and he said, "Why does your brother always smell like baby oil?" He goes, "No, he works at the dryer sheet plant. And what they do is they melt down pig fat and they put fragrance in it. So the pig fat is what's making your clothes smell. And the fragrance was getting into this poor guy's body. I mean, literally, when you put on clothes that have fragrance on the laundry soaps and the detergents and the fabric softeners, it's getting into your fat cells. This guy could take shower after shower after shower and he still smelled like a fragrance like baby oil. And that's happening to all of you who are using fragrance. Oh, Mary, well, I just use this little perfume or I just use this, but it adds up. And your body can't handle that kind of toxin. So it stores it in the fat. And guess what? Your fat will continue to grow. So until you get rid of the toxins in your life, the toxins in your cleaners, the toxins in your home, those toxins, you're still going to struggle, not just with breathing issues and skin issues and all of those things. You're going to lower your immune system and you are going to struggle to lose the weight you want to lose. It's just science. It's science. So we have some good solutions for you for that, to get rid of the candles in your home with these beautiful diffusers and our natural cleaning products. All right. Before we go on to step 4, let's give away, what do we want to give away, Karen? Let's give away another essential oil, Deep Relief. I'm going to come off of mute here. Let's give away some Deep Relief roll-on. This is phenomenal too. No chemicals in this, just good old essential oils.
Okay, let's give it away. I've got a list of people here that have commented on the last questions that you had posted for us. Let's give it to Beth
Yeah.
Walters.
Awesome, Beth. Congratulations. Laura, did you have a question?
Oops, there I am, right?
Yeah.
No, I can't comment or anything, and it's frustrating, but that's why I waved my hand.
Oh, okay. You were like, yes. Okay. All right, good, good, good. Has anyone else noticed who has gotten the toxins out of their house or made some changes? Have you noticed like maybe more clear head? Have you noticed any weight changes and things like that?
I know, can you hear me still? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I notice that if I go back into aisles in the store with those chemicals, that it just blows me away. So I've cleaned up a lot.
Good job. Good job. No more headaches from fragrances. Good
Right.
job. Not really weight changes, but fewer headaches. Good, Brenda. Awesome. 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 All right. Well, let's keep going here. You're all doing good. Thank you for hanging in there. I know it's a lot. Okay. Your fourth step is your water. And this is one I hear a lot of excuses about. All right. I know a lot of you have had, like Laura said, she's had lap band surgery and stuff like that. But you need to find a way to get the water in. You need to find a way to get the water in because science will not hydrolyze the fat until you have enough water to do that. Until you have enough water to do that. You must. Now, a lot of people ask me about the scale. And in our transformation, it was a daily thing. We had to become detached from the scale. There's a whole training on that too that you can look into. But we had to understand how food, how water. I found out I was sensitive to eggs. It would put a lot of inflammation on my body. So I was actually measuring for a season, measuring my weight every single day to see that. And if you want to see how water affects you, look at that. Obviously, you have to have the same parameters every day, like you stop drinking water at a certain time and then weigh yourself first thing in the morning. So that's the same, but you will see how your body reacts to certain food, certain meals, all of those things. All right. We have some wonderful essential oils that we can put in water. We have electrolyte drops, lots of good things that can help you stay hydrated and help you fall in love with water. All right, next I want to talk about macros and calories. And I'm going to come off of mute to talk to you a little bit about that and show you what I mean by that. So you're probably rolling your eyes like, oh my gosh, do I have to, measure macros and calories? But you have to know what you're eating. And at least for a season, maybe in your focus season, you can actually look and see what you're eating. I know people like Trina Holden has a great program called the Kitchen Queens, which is really good. And she makes you set up menus so that you're, what you're feeding your family and stuff. And one of the things that the next steps I'm going to take in that, I'm like, yeah, these are the meals I like to feed my family, or these are the meals for myself. And then actually looking at that meal and how much protein does it have, how much carbohydrates. And we've had some conversations too, is that I have a son with special needs who has to have more protein in his diet. He has to have less carbohydrates. So we make up these meal plans and stuff for that. But this is what I had to do in my transformation, is I had to get to the nitty gritty. And we're going to give away some of these little containers. You can get them on Amazon. They're different colors. And they are like 1 cup. This is 1 cup of fruit, 1 cup of veggies, right? This is a serving size of protein. A lot of you know that serving size of protein here, so many ounces and stuff too. This is protein that's 3/4 of a cup. So 1 cup for veggies, 1 cup for your fruits. This is a 1/2 cup. This is the size of a carbohydrate serving. This is about 100 calories of rice or oatmeal. And it doesn't look like a lot, but it actually, once you get it in there, it is a good serving. It is a good serving, especially if you're having other food with that too. This is your fats. This is about 1/4 cup. This is your guacamole. This is your cheese, right? This is the fats that you have in your diet. This is seeds, like flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, dressings, stuff like that. And then we have tea. So I have these things, and this is what I ate. I'm going to give you my plan of what I ate every day in my focus phase. Okay, not my freedom, but my focus phase. So I had at least 4 of these per day. And this will be your biggest complaint to me is, oh my gosh, this is so much food. 4 cups of veggies every day, sometimes 6, right? Depending on the plan I'm on. 4 cups of veggies every single day. 2 fruits. Now you're like, how does an apple fit in? How's an orange? Or, I'm not going to get into the details, but 2 fruits. 2 carbohydrates. That's it, 2. And for me, in a peri-postmenopausal stage, I actually do better the less I have of this. I don't go full keto, but for me, if I'm doing 2 fruits, I might just do 1 of these. More veggies, maybe an extra protein for me. This is what I'm feeling out now, but for me, I do much better. If I have carbohydrates, 1 piece of Ezekiel toast is 1 carbohydrate. So if you're having sandwiches every day, or you're having a club at the restaurant or whatever, you're going probably way over your carbohydrates in a day. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, those are all carbohydrates too, right? I have a video on this too, you can go to. 4 proteins. Now this is the big one, the 4 proteins every day. This is a hard one for most people because they're probably only getting maybe 1, 2 proteins in a day. So what I had every single day, maybe twice a day, is that I had a meal replacement shake every single day. In fact, I had chocolate and sugar every single day because the shake that I took every single day was chocolate and it had sugar in it as well. For my transformation, the Pure Protein Complete by Young Living had the whey in it. And my body just got very inflammatory and allergy wise. It just didn't do well with the whey. But now we have the Power Meal and I absolutely love it. I think it's phenomenal. But the thing that you have to remember is that this isn't just, whatever the scoops, 2 scoops, 170 calories, that would count as 1 protein. So a lot of you have 1 of these shakes and like, oh, I'm good for the day. You're not. You're probably not getting enough protein. You need the protein to build the hormones. You need the protein to build your muscles, especially if you're working out. You need the protein for your brain to work right. You need the protein for your body to really get at a good place, right? So this, yes, it is an expense. Yes, it is an expense if you're going to buy meats and things like that. But there's other things, and I'll give you resources of where you can find, well, what other proteins can I have and stuff. I really, really like this. Now, remember I said it was hard to get those veggies in too? But we have our new greens by Young Living too. They're called Ninja Greens. If you're brand new, again, these are the products that I've worked with. Maybe you have other products that you've worked with, but I love the Ninja Greens. I think about a scoop. You could get by as 1 scoop could equal 1 green, but I think it's more like 1.5. I don't know. I'm playing with that. I'm seeing how my body does digestively, but I'd like to put these 2 together. Very good. And I'll put them with like a cup of blueberries. And then I do a cup of almond milk or coconut milk or cashew milk, all of that. So I gave you all the containers, but I forgot one thing. You also get 3 what are called teaspoons per day. But a teaspoon could be a teaspoon of butter, could be a teaspoon of peanut butter, right? A teaspoon, or it could be a whole cup of your nut milks, right? A whole cup of your nut milks. So I like to have more. So that's what I choose. Now, I know you feel like you've been fire hosed right now. You feel overwhelmed. But we're going to give those containers out in a few minutes at the end of our class. I know that camel milk is very, very good to you, but I have a hard time finding it, and price wise and stuff too. So this is where I'm putting some of my money as well. Also, one of the things too that happens when you start to lose weight is you lose that plumpness. So there is more fine lines, not just in the face, in other areas too. So on my journey, I did occasionally use some collagen, like another powder brand that I had. And I did see a result. And my other friends that we were on a transformation with, we did notice like, hey, I do think that this really works. But thank goodness Young Living came out with Inner Beauty Collagen. It's a really good source of collagen, lots of good things in there. So I'm going to be adding that to my shakes every single day, and I'll let you know with my befores and afters as well. Great for hair, skin, and nails. Okay. All right. So we might have some questions here coming up too. So let me just finish up. So I was at about between 1,200 and 1,500 calories a day. So if you ate all that food that I talked to you about, that would be about 1,200 and 1,500 calories a day, which would give you probably a deficit, most people, to lose about a pound and a half a week. If you add exercise to that, then you're probably looking at anywhere from a pound to 2 pounds per week. Okay. Now, proteins and plants, I think we covered that as well. And this is really where your preparation comes in, where like Trina was teaching me, she said, Mary, you have to double your cooking batches. Like you're cooking in too small portions. We're a smaller family. We only have 4, but I need to make sure when I cook a chicken, I cook 2 chickens, right? And I just have more things prepared, more things in the freezer, more veggies, both fresh veggies and cooked veggies. For those of you with digestive problems, the raw veggies, you need more cooked veggies. I know that sounds like sacrilegious or something, but you need more cooked veggies, especially if you're having a lot of constipation, bloating. Make sure you're cooking your veggies. At least do it for a couple of weeks and you'll see some big changes as well too. Cook once, eat twice. Yes. Awesome. And that is a big key to this, is that preparation. Did I use stevia or monk fruit? I'll get to that in a second. Let me finish up here. We talked about sleep, very, very important step in your weight loss journey. And then fitness. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple tips on fitness too. You have to start where you're at. Fitness is a key to health, but women who are peri and postmenopausal, you need to be very diligent with your fitness journey. And the reason I say that is because if you're not diligent in your late 40s, 50s, 60s, what's going to happen to your body in the 70s, 80s, and 90s is not pleasant. You have to keep your bones strong and your body strong and flexible. And that means that walking is not enough. That occasionally working out 1 or 2 or 3 times a week is not enough. Look at the American Heart Association says that we need to be working out 6 days a week cardiovascularly. Like our heart needs to be pumping, right? Our heart needs to be pumping. Now you're going to say, well, what's the best exercise? I did a whole workshop on fitness. We're going to give you